Hi. So today we're going to be talking about how to come out to conservative parents. But before we do, I'll let you know that at the end of the video, I will be telling you how you can get this t-shirt for free. Also, don't forget, if you haven't yet, to vote for your favorite bisexual character of last year in the Bisexual Representation Awards. This is your opportunity to tell Hollywood that you are watching, that you care, and that you want more bisexual characters. And I will let you know this. Networks have actually been contacting me about this, so I know that they are listening. So now, how does one come out to conservative parents? Good question. Now, I want to remind you, A, that you don't have to come out to anybody if you don't want to. People just automatically think they should come out to their parents when, honestly, that's not always the best thing. B, I want to remind you that when you come out, you shouldn't just come out to the person closest to you. You should make a list of the people you think would be most accepting of your bisexuality, your sexual orientation, and then start from the most accepting and come out to them as you go down. So if you have conservative parents, they actually might be one of the last people you come out to. Now, having said that, how do you actually come out? Well, there is one question I think is very important to ask yourself before you attempt coming out to a conservative parent. Ask yourself, does your parent place family above their beliefs, or do they place their beliefs above their family? Now, this is a very, very, very important question, because if a person places their family above their beliefs, that means that they are willing to change their beliefs in order to maintain their family. And then the reverse would be, if a person puts beliefs over their family, that means they're willing to change their family in order to maintain their beliefs. So I'm going to say that if you have parents that put their beliefs over their family, the chances are high that you're going to have a bad situation coming out. In fact, I highly recommend in these situations to wait until you are completely independent, until you can take care of yourself, whether it's in terms of having a job or having somewhere else to live. Really, the chances of it going badly are high if your parents put their beliefs over their family. So keep that in mind. But it's not all is lost, though. In these types of situations, what a person has to do is simply expand their idea of what family is. Maybe your idea of family should now include your friends, your accepting friends. Maybe it should include the parents of your friends, or an aunt or an uncle. What you want to do is you want to find someone that you can consider close that does put their family above their beliefs. And then you can do this process with them. But again, if they put beliefs over family, proceed with extreme caution. Okay, so now let's say that your parents put their family over the beliefs. I have always thought it is extremely unfair when bisexuals or gay people just come out of nowhere and tell their parents they're bisexual and then expect a good reaction. Because, of course, you've had, months, years to figure this whole thing out and what it means and to go through all the process of everything. And then your parents, who, if they're conservative, probably have not thought about this at all, are suddenly presented with a situation they're expecting, like you're expecting them to just be really great with it. That's unfair. So to combat that, especially in this situation with a conservative parent, the best possible thing would be to start the process of educating them. So what you want to do is you want to start putting these words into their vocabulary, putting these words into your mind, and just get them to start thinking about it, so that whenever you do decide to come out, it's not some sort of surprise. Like you want them to kind of have thought about it. For example, if you're watching TV and there's a character that likes someone of the same gender, point it out. Have a conversation about it. You don't have to bring it back to you. In fact, it's probably better if you don't bring it back to you. Or if you have a friend that's dating or that likes someone of the same gender, or an imaginary friend who likes someone of the same gender. Whatever you choose to do, however you choose to do it, the most important thing is to educate them on what bisexuality is, that exists, that there's a word out there called bisexual. You just want to get that into their heads and get them thinking about it. Now, it's okay. yes, it'll be disappointing if you say that and then they immediately say something negative, like, oh, that's against God's will, or that's icky, or whatever it is. It's not going to feel great. But you have to keep in mind two things. First, that they have already, or you know for sure that they put family over beliefs, which means they're willing to change their beliefs in order to maintain their family. And also because they're probably just working off routine. Human beings have a tendency just to work off routine. So if they go to a church or a clergy or mosque or a temple or whatever else, and the preacher is a bigot, and they're saying, they imply that only straight people are okay, or only white people, or only certain types of Muslims, or whatever else, then they're just kind of like working off routine, and they haven't really thought about it. They haven't been confronted with it. So if they say something that's kind of not empowering, you kind of have to expect that, and don't be discouraged, because what you're doing is you're educating them, and this is what the education process is about. So once you feel like that they understand the whole concept of bisexuality, or at least it's going through their head, a great thing to do after that is to simply ask them the question that I asked you, which is, Mom, I'm wondering, what's more important to you, family or your beliefs? Expect to get pushback on this, because this is like $1 million question. Like I would think their next question to you would be, why are you asking me that? Because it's a deep question. But you don't have to get personal about it. You just want them to answer the question, so they could say, why are you asking that? Like, I'm just curious. You just get them to answer it. Just get them to answer that question. If it takes a day, if it takes 2 days, if it takes a week, it takes a month, wait for them to give an answer to that question of what they think is more important. Why? Because once they say that family is more important, what you should do is mirror it back to them. So they say, well, I think that family is more important. Then you say, I think that family is more important too. This is something called mirroring, and studies have shown that when someone mirrors another person, the other person feels more bonded to them. So you mirror back what they say, yeah, I think family is more important too. In which case, then you go on with, and because it's important is why I wanted to tell you something, that I'm bisexual. So that is how you can come out. Now, just because they say that that family is more important than beliefs doesn't mean that it's just going to go perfectly well, where you can tell them bisexual and they're going to go, oh, great, I accept you for who you are. Hug, now let's go out and you tell me the types of people you like. Don't expect anything like that. In fact, you should probably expect pushback. You should expect them to say something along the lines of, well, if you're bisexual, doesn't that mean that you can choose to only date people of the opposite gender? And don't get upset by this question, because it is a legitimate question coming from someone who is straight and has no ideas. That's a super, super legitimate question. In fact, if you're bisexual, you probably asked yourself that. So don't be angry if they ask something like that. And also don't get upset if they say something along the lines of, don't tell grandma, or, okay, you're bisexual, but let's just keep this between us. Now, I say don't get upset because, number one, they love you. They're not doing this to hurt you. And there's probably some reason why they're telling you this, because maybe grandma puts beliefs over family. And if you tell her, it's going to go bad. Like, listen to them. Like, you don't have to take their opinion, take their advice, but listen to them and don't get upset for it, because the pushback is coming from all human beings want to reconcile their beliefs with their family. They want their beliefs and family to fit together into this perfect communion where, the family is completely following what they believe and all that stuff. So they're trying to reconcile their beliefs with this new information they've gotten. So they're thinking, oh, maybe I could have it both ways if my child still acts as if they were straight, so they're just kind of testing the water to see what is possible. So what you want to do now is you want to let them know that this isn't a conversation about how they can help you change, that this is a conversation about them accepting who you are. So the best possible way of changing the conversation from, maybe you can do this, maybe you can do this, maybe you can do that, is to, again, I'll just say the sentence, then we'll break it down. You can respond by saying, Mom, I told you because I think family is important and because I was hoping that you could accept me for who I am. Otherwise, I would be living a lie, and I know that living a lie would be a sin. So let's break that down. So the first part of it was when you're saying, Mom, I think that family is important too. Again, that's mirroring. And then the second part is, I was hoping that you would accept me for who I am. This is important because now you're telling them what you're hoping to get from this conversation. You are stating their desire, and a lot of people, when you come out to whomever, they have no idea what they're supposed to say next. Like, they have no idea. Some parents know and they just go, I will love you no matter what. And other parents are just like, okay, are you sure? So you're telling them specifically what it is you're hoping to get from the conversation. And then you're framing everything in a language they can understand, which is through religion, by saying that, I could potentially only, date people of the opposite gender, or I could keep this between us. But if I did that, I would be living a lie. And what? In the Christian religion, lying is a sin. So in effect, you'd be asking them, what's the greater sin? To follow my love or to live my entire life as a lie? So I laugh, but this is the best possible way you could come out to conservative parents. Again, that's ask yourself whether or not they put family over beliefs or beliefs over family, and then go through the education process to get them familiar with the concept that there are people that are other than straight, and then come out to them, expect pushback, and then mirror them, tell them what you're expecting from this conversation, then put it into a framework that they can understand. I hope this helps because, out of all the coming out to conservative anybody's is always the most difficult part. And I know that many of you are growing up in conservative cities and conservative towns and conservative parents, and sometimes it's better to wait, but in certain cases, it might be effective to do what I have just suggested. So I hope that works out for you. Now, if you would like to get this t-shirt for free, I'm proud to say that this t-shirt is actually one of the best-selling bisexual t-shirts on Amazon right now. But I think it could sell more. And what I'm looking for are reviews. So I'm looking for 5 reviews on Amazon.com. So if you are open to writing a review on this shirt, the link is in the description below. If you write a 5-star positive review for the shirt and then send me a link to it, my email address is in the description below, I will then send you a free t-shirt. And don't forget when you write me to let me know whether or not you would like a male or female shirt, what color you'd like it in, and also the size and your address. And like that, you could have a free t-shirt. So check that out. Also, just a reminder, if you haven't yet, please vote for your favorite bisexual characters and bisexual representation awards. The voting period is very quickly coming to an end. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I do many videos on bisexual topic, but I don't always do them on a regular basis, but I do them frequently. So if you want to know when a new video comes out, you have to click on the subscribe button and click on that little bell, and that will tell YouTube that you'd like to know when a new video comes out. Till next video, stay cooler, my bisexual friend. Stay cooler. Bye.